Hey, welcome back, Visions fans. Ready Player Will here. Today I'm going over the new Vision card released tune-up time. Just a very quick and dirty review. My thoughts on it, when you might get some optimization out of it, how it compares to the current cast of Vision cards, and then how it fits into what you might put it on. So, without further ado, when I saw this card this week, my first thought was, uh, why? This card is like, this is a weird card. It's quite frankly like not that great of a card. So let's actually get into it. Overall stats: 276 for HP, 164 attack. Gives you essentially a starting higher max AP of 20. For what that means in actual combat is that when you start a battle for characters that are majority physical classes, essentially you get 1/4 of whatever your total AP is. Long story short, whoever you put this on will get 5 more AP to start the battle than they normally would, which, what it's worth, it's okay. Unit effects: you get magic resistance 10%, you increase attack 10% only if you're water, for both of those, only if you're water. There is a missile attack buff if you're using Cryes or Lucia, but quite honestly, I have no idea why you would ever use Lucia with this card. And then for party effects, you get increase of a human killer of 25, only on physical attacks though, only physical attacks. And then increase accuracy of 13%, only on physical attacks. You also get increase of unit resistance for 20. So when you're looking at this card, it's obviously made for a physical attacking unit because the attack stat, but also B, 2 of the party buffs are only upon physical attacks. So obviously it's meant to be in a party of I would assume majority physical users. So if we look at the water cast overall, and we're looking at UR units here, obviously there are MR units which have their place and they're niche, but again, this is a UR card. I very doubt you'd pull a UR card so you can use it for your MR units. Like it's kind of weird value economically. But anyways, we're looking at the cast of characters here, and obviously this is an attack-oriented card, so we can immediately like kind of chop out our magic users for who would want to put this card on. You're left with these 5. And then when you're talking about vision cards and using units, now you can have units that are really good, but there are certain units who have vision cards that are really tailor-made for them to really increase their ceiling and make them great. Of this remaining cast, we actually have 2 such characters. Lara Croft's vision card. Like, I don't know how you can use that character without her vision card. Maybe if you had Secrets to Heart on someone else, but like, she needs her vision card. And then Titus, are there other vision cards which might be okay on him? Sure, probably. But like, Suteki Dane is like a really big power boost for him. So from that perspective, like, I really don't think this new tune-up card is good on either of them, which leaves you with these remaining 3. Now, speaking frankly, this card actually is pretty good for Glaciella. She has a negative 10% magic resistance, so this will make it 0. Rounds out some of her accuracy and attack to make her competitive with the current landscape. Unit resistance because she's got some good mobility, so she might get into some duels. So, you know what? I'll give you that. This card actually probably not so bad on Glaciella. Winter Ramada, that like might be one of the worst UR characters in the game. Winter Victoria is really one of the only other units you'd ever put this vision card on. That being said, I still don't know why you would. Because if you're looking at what this card does, and you're looking at what the other alternative vision cards are, and again, the 2 that I'm about to show you are not limited cards, so you can get these and build them. Obviously, their banner has gone, so you can't build it as easily today as you can with tune-up time, but thanks for the votes. Sure, a little bit of less of an attack stat, but really not the biggest deal in the world. You still get the same amount of extra AP to start. You get 5 agility from this vision card, which I think is positively massive. In terms of unit effects, you essentially get 15% extra HP, which, to be fair, might offset the extra magic resistance. It really depends. 15% HP is probably more valuable in the broad scheme of the game for effective HP and defending against multiple types of attack types. But then the party effects, this is where like I'm really confused. So for tune-up time, you get an extra 25 modifier on physical attacks for human killer, but you get 35 as a water attack for thanks for the vote. So this is a higher modifier, and it applies to any water unit that you're using in the cast. So if you have a magic user that's using a water magic ability, they'll get a 35 modifier, whereas a tune-up time they don't. The second thing is the increase of accuracy of 13. Thanks for the votes, it's universal. As long as you're a water unit, you're getting 13%, whereas tune-up time, it has to be a physical attack. Yes, you lose out on the 20 unit resistance, which that could be valuable, but I think it's like not enough to make up for what this card simply just does better than tune-up time in most instances. And even to a different perspective, Astrologer card is another attack-oriented card, which I think is a great candidate for Winter Victoria. Not only A, is it similar attack stat, pretty close. It gives you extra 4 spirit. So if you're talking about the magic resistance, if you need a character that really needs magic resistance, well, A, not only does Astrologer give you 4 spirit, which is going to help you with that, but B, the party effect is magic resistance of 20. So already, whatever character is using tune-up time, they're going to get more magic resistance off Astrologer. And then number 2, the attack buff of 10%. Well, Astrologer gives you 35%. So yes, like again, in addition to that, you're also getting acquired AP up of 35%. So like there's another extra benefit that you're still getting. And so yes, again, you're losing out on the unit resistance of 20, but like how important is that really in the broad scheme of the game? Like I don't think it's that important, quite honestly. At least it's very, very niche and specific to certain kinds of use. That being said, if you're talking about, hey, tune-up time, it's meant for Cryas, why are you talking about all these UR units? It's great for like a water gunner meta, and obviously if you're like in a class match and you have some cost limitations, like you could put this team together and you could use tune-up time and make some really great and yada yada. And I'm like, dude, like if you're anticipating a missile meta in class match and you're gonna roll with this comp, like you're in for a rude freaking awakening going against other missile users. Like that water comp gets positively stomped by the de facto lightning comp, like not even including like Nivlu and obviously like Charlotte and Fred. I'm talking like strictly like people that have missile users, that the unit effect actually might have tangible benefit because a lot of the missile units are a single unit, but even then they're not really, because obviously there's like sniper sub jobs for barrage and dual gunner has a bunch of AoE. So even then, like I don't understand why you would want the unit resistance when there's so much AoE also available to missile units. So that's the card in a nutshell. I'm like quite honestly kind of confused. The only upside I really see to it is an instance where you're like, I absolutely need this 20 unit resistance and that's it, because everything else on the card you can get in the other water cards that are already available for the most part. So do with that what you will. Sorry, kind of a downer for a review, but that's kind of my honest take on it. For those of you that have pulled for it, hopefully you get some use. Obviously, you don't want your resources to go to waste. And don't get me wrong, when you're making a cast of 5 characters for some PvE content, I'm sure you can probably use this card and get some extra utility out of it that you may not otherwise. But like the broad scheme, like that's a really niche situation and comparative, really less valuable than many of the other vision cards that exist in the game. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was informative, and I'll talk to y'all soon.